bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Adults with ADHD face a whole different set of challenges than kids with the disorder, and we're going to talk about that next on Newsmakers. Hello again, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jen Boyette, and with me today is Marjorie Johnson. She's a professional advisor for CHADD, and today we're talking about treating adults with ADHD. It's nice to have you with us today.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Jen.
So tell us what CHADD is, first of all, and what the organization does.
CHADD stands for Children and Adults with Attention Deficit Disorder. It's a national organization that provides support services, resources, and advocacy for children and adults and their families.
Okay, so a few years ago it was known as ADD.
Right.
And now it's ADHD, right?
It is, and I'll use it interchangeably. I've been around a long time, so sometimes the ADD still comes out.
Right. So why the distinction now then to add the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Is that what it is?
Right, right. Because there are actually three types of ADD. We've realized through research over the years, there's primarily inattentive type, there's primarily hyperactive type, and there's combined type. So someone, particularly an adult, may have the inattentive problems and not have the hyperactivity in behavior.
Okay, and as an adult, it's something that now maybe they've had all their lives and didn't know.
Exactly. Many adults get diagnosed when their children get diagnosed. They go in, they bring the kid in with some issues, and then they realize, gee, I have this trait and that trait, and I always have. Adults have a real problem getting diagnosed, though, because it does express itself somewhat differently. Particularly an adult woman with ADD often goes under the wire and doesn't get diagnosed.
Right, and now why is that? They just think it's just, this is just my personality, or?
A lot of times they think it's moral weakness, they have often low self-esteem, they feel like, how come I'm not accomplishing what I should? Or they have the imposter syndrome. They may be highly professional, very active women who feel like they're not quite measuring up, because it takes a lot of energy to focus the brain and keep all those balls juggling and accomplish things. So there's a lot of a sense of anxiety and overwhelm with ADD in adults.
Well, somebody's listening and think, well, maybe, sometimes I have trouble keeping organized or keeping my thoughts together. What are some of the symptoms that might be an indicator?
There are three main components and two clusters. I won't get into all that, but the first is the inattentive. And the inattention might show up with losing things, forgetting things, missing details, starting to do one task and then losing focus and ending up doing another task. Oftentimes, adults tell me they have 3 and 4 tasks going at the same time and they sort of get lost. So the inattentive piece is very big. The second may be hyperactivity, and it may be behavioral. It may be that they're fidgeting and just busy, but it might be a hyperactivity of the mind, where these are very high achievers, many of them. These are the ones that blaze the trail. Tom Hartman calls them the hunters. They're tracking the next game, the next project. And then the third piece is the impulsivity. Sometimes adults will blurt things out, interrupt, make decisions, and then regret it afterward because they didn't think things through carefully.
Right. Well, is there treatment, and is it just a way of learning how to live with it, or is there a way to maybe reverse some of that behavior?
Well, the disease or the disorder actually is not curable. I mean, it's something you have to manage and deal with the rest of your life, much like diabetes, for example. You can learn coping skills, though. Most people find they benefit from medication. So it's important to have a doctor on your team. It's also very helpful to have a therapist and or a coach. Coaching with ADHD is really making some nice inroads, helping people to achieve the goals that they set for themselves throughout the day.
Okay, what does the medication do? Just kind of maybe calm you down a bit, or what does it do?
Well, actually, in the ADD brain, the parts of the brain that manage executive function, which is planfulness and decision making, really don't work as well. And PET scans show that if you give a stimulant to stimulate that part of the brain, those parts of the brain light up and they work very well. So medication's very important.
Okay, well, we'll end on that note. We're out of time already, but the important thing to know is that there is treatment and ways to handle it.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for watching. This hour's Newsmaker has been Marjorie Johnson. She's a professional advisor for CHADD, and I'm Jen Boyette for Newsmakers, an exclusive production of Comcast.